costume shopping after class today. Want to come with?" Jules whispered, as Professor Centifont attempted to get the remote for his PowerPoint presentation to work. He smacked it against his palm, and the presentation rapid-fired through several slides. She nudged me. "So, what do you say? You can help me decide between the Satan's Mistress and Too Hot to Handle costumes. Who came up with these names? And for the love of God, why did she remember them?" The first week of school at any college meant one thing: the beginning of the themed frat party marathon that continued until school let out. In Drexler's case, heaven and Hades. I appreciated the offer since I didn't really know anyone else on campus. I had transferred over the summer from FSU back to Northern California. "Can't. I have a crapload of anthropology and OChem homework," I said as Professor Centifont mumbled and backtracked through his slides, one hand on the remote, the other raking through his salt and pepper hair. "Fine, but you're still coming with me to heaven and Hades tonight, right? Hot guys, free drinks, what more could a girl want?" Jules waggled her eyebrows. She was convinced we could flirt our way into the party. But according to the girls' stage whispering behind us, it sounded like a pretty exclusive event, with an even more selective guest list. To stay in or not to stay in? That was the million-dollar question. I needed my grades to be at their best when I applied to medical schools in 6 months. Well, I doodled hearts in the margin of my paper, weighing the pros and cons of going out on a Friday night. I had 1 B- on my transcript. One more would ruin my chances of getting into a top-notch school, aka Drexler, the school I had just transferred to. Even though I'd finish my undergrad here, it wouldn't give me any advantage when I applied to their competitive medical program. On the other hand, my body was as rigid as Kathy Lee's Botoxed face. Fun would be good for me, and it would keep my mind off my dad. "Please?" Jules batted her baby blues at me, her palms pressed together as if she was praying to the party gods. 1 hour. I could spare 1 hour. Maybe 2 if I finished most of my homework. Okay, but just for a little bit. Jules fist-pumped and did a victory dance in her seat, her blonde hair swishing across her face. "I'll even let you borrow my angel costume from last year, so you don't have to go shopping." I hadn't known her too long, but I had my suspicions about this supposed angel costume. Hypothesis: minimal fabric and maximum skin. Zoning out the professor's lecture, I filled in the white space of every letter O on the course syllabus. Jules looked up from her cell phone, which she had texted on all throughout class. She tapped my desk with her pen and pointed toward the front of the room. Professor Centifont announced our first assignment. "Your job is to write a 3-page essay explaining what ethics means to you as a future healthcare professional." Well, I knew what wasn't considered ethical as a medical professional. My father was the poster child of what not to do. My cell phone showed 3 more minutes left of class. 3 more minutes, and 16 more Fridays filled with oodles of medical ethics fun. Jules's breath tickled my ear. I bet at least half the class writes about Dr. Cooper. Seriously, who axes their wife? So cliché. The tip of my pen ground down the open page of my notebook, and a trail of jagged paper fragments followed in its wake. It was one thing to hate my own father, but to have other people, especially my roommate, casually berate him erred on the side of completely effed up. My pulse raced, the vein in my temple painfully throbbing as I shifted my gaze to Jules. What was I supposed to say to that? "Yep," I said, but couldn't hide the panic in my voice. I busied myself, shoving my notes and textbook into my backpack and praying Jules wasn't observant enough.